Morning, guys. When we feel loved, when we truly feel loved, there is nothing more powerful in this world. I felt it in my life. I am so grateful for all the love in my life. And I want you to know how powerful that love is. And I want you to know, too, that we all can show the determination, make the decision to recognize that love is a verb, as Stephen Covey has said. It's an action. And I've never had the courage to say this until now. But I want you to know, wherever you are, whatever mistakes, whatever you've been through, whatever you've gone through, you are loved. I love you. I love you because you're the same as me. We all have that one common denominator. We have a mind of our own. We have the power to control it, and we can choose love over hate. And that makes us unlimited. So I want you to remember that no matter what. Have a great day, everyone.
Feel the power of you controlling your breathing right now. Feel the power of you enjoying your greatest gift right now. That's you. That's your presence. That's your greatest power. Your power to determine to stay in the present, in the now, and be your true great being that you are. No matter what. In this present moment, everything is here you need right now. So let's see ourselves today doing the best we can in the gym of life. Here we are again. Controlling our minds. Controlling our breathing. One great thought at a time. One great breath at a time. So see yourself doing your best on all the exercises we do today together, here and now. That's your determination, your greatest power, power that's the same in you and every human being on the planet. Good morning, determination. How's everyone doing today? What a day again. Great day. Here we are. May not like exactly all the conditions that are going on right now, but we are here right now together, working on our minds and working on our bodies. So here we go. When I say go, we're going to start doing our best jog on the spot, or you can go back and forth if you want to just walk. Remember to keep in mind the safety of the space you are working with. Always keep that in mind. Here we go. When I say go, we're going to do our best jog ever. But you got to see it in your mind first. That's where everything begins, in your mind. But to be your true great self, you also sometimes have to get out of your mind just to be you. Just to be. Here we go. Jogging on the spot. Again, feel the control of you. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You always have that power to determine, to take control of your breathing your mind and your body. That's what keeps us here and now, in the present. The greatest gift we all have always. Almost there. Keep going. Determination. Keep going. All right. And let's walk it out. Back and forth. Or just walk on the spot. If that's all the space you have. All right, everyone. Let's start off with our shoulder rolls. Here we go. 10 shoulder rolls forward. Feel the power of all of us right now, watching this, working together on one thing. No matter what's going on, we can stay in the present, right here, right now. And backwards. Let's do arm circles forward. Here we go, arm circles forward. 10 forward, then we'll go 10 backwards. Then feel the power of you enjoying moving your body, being free to move through space. And backwards. Okay, here we go. Now let's do hands on our hips, bend your knees, and side stretch. Alright, and let's twist our body now. So 5 on each side. Keep your feet flat on the floor. Alright, excellent. Okay, let's do 5 push-ups together. Our best 5 push-ups. Here we go. If you gotta keep your knees down on the ground, that's fine. Just do the best you can. Alright, let's do 5 sit-ups. Alright, and standing up. And let's do 5 squats. Our best 5 squats ever. Excellent. Let's do lunges. 3 on each side. Arms out. Excellent. All right. And 10-second plank. Bring these knees off the ground. Hold it there for 10. Good work, everyone, and stand up and reach for the sky or the ceiling on your toes, depending on where you are. Feel the joy of reaching. If you lose your balance, get back up again. Never give up, no matter what. All right, now let's reach for our toes, straight knees. Again, feel the joy of the process of you reaching. Trying to go a little bit further than last time without hurting yourself. You know the truth about you and how much you can do right here, right now. Okay, and come on up again. Let's balance. Grab one leg. Find that balance. Again, if you have to imagine yourself with roots underneath your feet that have grown through the ground fully, deep into the earth, do that. If that helps you. And switch. Notice the power of all of us right now. Controlling our minds, to control our bodies, to control our breathing, and to control our balance. Alright, and now let's hug our knee. Here we go. Then the other one if you have to. Find that balance point and pull the knee up. Hug your knee, give it a good hug. And switch the other one. Feel the joy of you finding your balance in this moment right now. It's the same way you can do it in anything in life. All right. Okay, and let's sit down.
Messi chests it down for Piqué. Back to Lionel Messi. Yes. Sanchez sign him. Fabregas. Messi. Adriano. Oh, there's the winner. And guess who? Lionel Messi. Just giving it away. Messi. Elton to close him down. Messi. Barca take the lead. Ability.
Can't promise you the outcome that you're going to get from watching this, but what I can tell you, if you apply what you're about to learn, this will change your financial future. If you're here, it's probably because you're ready for change. And what you're going to learn in tonight's training will do just that. So if taking back control of your money isn't enough to keep you glued to this screen for the next 90 minutes, I think it's time to reassess your priorities. Number one, you're gonna learn how to take back control of your money. And you're gonna do that by learning how to be the bank. Number two, you're gonna learn how to build wealth through your own debts and expenses. And you can do that without working harder, without working longer, and without taking on any additional risk. And number three, you're gonna learn how to get all the money back for every single car you will ever buy, drive, and own. That's exactly what you're gonna learn in tonight's training, so get ready, get set, let's go.
Take back control.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday?
What if by changing just one thing, everything would be better financially for your family? How many of you would make that one change? And how many of you want more money? And if you didn't say aye to that, then you got something to explore, because that one paradigm shift and new skill set is the gap between you and the wealthiest families. It's a difference between being a borrower and at their mercy, or being a builder and in control. So welcome. Congratulations for being here today. High five your neighbor. High five to you. How many people could have been here today and they chose not to be? But you showed up for yourself and those that you love and for your community. And that is just awesome. So in the next 6 hours, I'm going to let you in on a little known secret, a little known fact that the wealthiest families and visionaries like the Rockefellers and Walt Disney have been using the strategy called the infinite banking concept for ages to build and preserve their empires. And the strategy is simple, it's legal, and it's something that each and every one of you have access to. And it all starts with changing that one thing. And strangely, it's loving yourself more. Start paying yourself first. Stop being last in line for your money. Because shockingly, we're giving away a big chunk of all of our money every time we get paid to the bank, to the government, and to Wall Street, to them. And I'm going to show you how you can take back control from them. Would it be okay if I shared a little bit about myself and why I am so passionate about this subject? Imagine this. They're going to give you a job where you get to work an extra 30 hours a week, and you're going to take on a ton of additional roles, to the point where you have a different role for every day of the week. Stress and responsibilities. You're showing up first, you're leaving last. And bonus, here it is. You make zero extra money and have no equity in the company. How many of you would want to do that? Nobody. You'd have to be an idiot to do that. But then it gets worse. I leave that role, start my own company, and within a year, I find myself in another role in leadership, helping a coach build his coaching platform in the first year of the pandemic from $0 to $4 million. But now I'm working 15 to 18 hours, 7 days a week, and I'm making a third of what I was making in corporate America. Who in their right mind would do that? Again, nobody. You'd have to be crazy. But guess who did that twice? This guy. Then I hit rock bottom. I was at a mastermind in the back of the room, helping lead and going through an exercise. And the coach up front was asking everybody, how much money will you have 5 years from now? What are your dreams? Who will you be with? Where will you be? Where are you going to live? What are you going to be doing? How much impact in the world? Who are you saving? What are you doing for your friends, for your family, for those around you? And as everyone else was getting amped up and excited about what was possible, in that moment, I broke down and I started crying. And I felt like I was failing my sons, my wife, everyone I care about. And then I got real with myself. I realized I had some rules I realized I was at the end of the line with that journey. And as I looked down from the bottom, I thought, it can't get any worse than this. I've completely failed. I'm away from home. I'm not making hardly any money. Yes, I'm helping people, but there's nothing that's helping my family. And I knew I needed help. And I got humble. And I asked a brother of mine, a good friend of mine, I said, hey, Rep, I need help, man. I need a financial philosophy. I have one for being a father, for being an athlete, for being just a man in general, but I don't have a philosophy for my spirituality, but I don't have one for money. And he handed me a book. And this small, powerful book, I went home that day. It was about 30 minutes for me. I drove home. I was excited that night. I was like, if this is the key, I'm going to read it. And I read it that night. And don't be too impressed. It's only 91 pages. And guess what happened? I got angry. I got viscerally mad. Cussing, mad. And I read it again the next day because I thought if this was true, every single American would do this. And that became my mission. That is why I am here today with you. Because by the time our time together is over, you're going to know the secret that the wealthy know. And you're going to know what to do. You're going to know how the banks take your money and they make tons of money, shocking amounts of money, from the money that you've worked so hard to earn and store in their system. You're going to know how you can give yourself a raise and recapture all of the interest, which turns your debts into assets, along with creating a generational guaranteed legacy and the resourcefulness, the thinking to pass it on. And a few years ago, I thought this wasn't available. I was scared. I was lost. I was worried about money. But my family, we've applied this. We've succeeded with this more than I could even imagine. And today I'm going to show you how you can do the same. How many of you would think if you knew any of these things, one of these things, that would be valuable? And if you think that this is unattainable right now, if you're listening and you're new here, again, if you're new here, because I promise you it's within your grasp. My only request is that you hold the space, that whatever you don't know, add a 3-letter word at the end. I don't know this ... yet. Because everything begins with the way we think. The real estate right here. And by changing that one thing, adding one thing to your existing system will change everything. So let's hop in. Nelson Nash once said that the infinite banking concept, and we're going to do a lot of this today, the infinite banking concept, it was nothing more than an exercise of imagination, reason, logic, and prophecy. I like to add faith, but I think that's implied in Nelson's vision. And so now I want all of you, as long as you're not driving, right? No crashing. I want all of you to join me in an exercise of imagination. We're going to do this a couple times. So for this one, we're all going to close our eyes. And we're going to go back. We're going to go in the way back machine for some of us, and the not so far back machine for others, and the way back machine for some of you. But we're going to imagine we're back to being high school seniors and we're graduating high school. And now I am on stage and I'm asking you simply, how many of you are going to be rich or wealthy by the time you reach retirement? You're all going to be jumping up, screaming out and go, ooh, me, Jason, call on me. I'm going to be the next Bill Gates, the next Warren Buffett, the next Elon, the next maybe Donald Trump, the next Zuckerberg. I am going to be the next Bezos, the next big thing. You are excited. Everything is still possible because life hasn't taught you otherwise yet. And you're so excited about your future. But then over the decades, since we graduated high school, you know, for me, a long time ago at this point, and since I've graduated, things have slowly shifted. And it's been slow. It's almost imperceivable. And it's insidious. And what I'm talking about is this shocking statistic. According to the Social Security Administration, only 5 out of 100 Americans will be financially secure, not free, financially secure at retirement age, which is defined at age 67. I think that's a made-up age and a made-up thing, but how is this possible? Now, I know it's not you, all of you here, because you're already in the 5%. You're already in the ones that are applying the new thinking and being willing to make that shift for yourself and for your family. So it's not you. So I congratulate you, each of you, for being here because you're in the minority. But only 5 out of 100 Americans financially secure, that's a travesty. That has to change. We have to change that together. We can do better.
Good morning, guys. Today, Les Brown reminds us in his 10th rule, don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop chasing your dream. And Les Brown gives us an example of a few years back, actually a long time ago, when he was trying to come up with his business, or he was starting up and trying to make it, trying to follow his dream. He was working in a building in Detroit, Michigan, and he remembers sleeping on the floor. He remembers the ridicule, the people making fun of him, with him and his partners as they tried to work on fulfilling their dream. He remembers that pain, and he reminds us to not stop. Not stop on chasing our dream. And our dream is our happiness, our deep happiness, success, fulfillment, peace. So no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it is right now, you're going to make it. But you have to make that decision, that determination to make it. Have a great day, everyone.
And reach for our toes, straight knees. There you go. And feel the gift of you. Trying to be your best. The best you. Not your best compared to others. Just your best you. Alright, V-shape with our legs, and let's reach for the floor as far away from our body as we can. Again, enjoy the process. Enjoy the reaching. You'll never get to an end point. There is no end point. You are infinite. Reach for one to the other side. Everything straight. We gotta learn to love the process of everything we're doing. That's what will always keep us mind healthy, and more importantly, mind wealthy. And switch. Mind wealthy meaning that we choose courage, we choose determination over fear, over giving up. Okay, and let's bring our feet together and gently push our knees down with our elbows. Hold it there for 10 seconds. Always remember your breathing. And one leg forward, one leg back, go as far back as you can. Keep that knee down. Just feel the power, the joy of this moment right now. This is how we win, one moment at a time. And switch. We always win if we control our minds. We don't let our minds control us. It's not the way it's supposed to be. We are infinitely intelligent. We control our minds. Alright, and let's roll onto our bellies. Push the floor and look up at the ceiling. Or the sky, wherever you are. Ready? Here we go. Okay, and legs crossed again, back straight, eyes closed. Breathing in through our nose, out through our mouth. Feeling the joy in every breath. Now, let's see in our mind today the vision we want to create for our best exercises. For me today, I'm going to see myself doing my best on each of the 2 songs I choose on one exercise each. So I'm going to see in my mind myself holding the lunge position for each leg as long as possible, hopefully for the duration of the first song. And then for the second song, I'm going to see myself holding a V sit-up position as long as I can. You don't have to choose those exercises. You may if you want. But you can see in your mind right now, whatever exercise you love doing, as long as you're doing it safely. You can dance, you can jump, you can do jumping jacks, lunges, squats, whatever your heart desires right now. As long as you stay safe. You know how to stay safe. You're made of rules, truth, principles that are designed to keep you safe, happy, successful, and free and peaceful all the time. It's a matter of want. You gotta want to be safe, healthy, and happy. You gotta want it so bad, as bad as you want Alright everybody, here I go. My best to hold the lunge position on each leg. What about you? What are you going to do? Whatever you do, remember, your happiness is dependent on you doing your best on whatever it is you're doing. So here we go. Sometimes I'll keep my arms out like this too. Sometimes I'll put them out this way. Sometimes I'll bring them up. Slowly bring them back down. Just enjoying the pleasure of my body. This is pure happiness for me. Working on my mind and body all at once. And I want it for you. I want you to know that the way you do this, the way you control your mind to do this, the way you can do anything. Remember, our body has limits that we have yet to discover, but our mind is unlimited. More importantly, you control your mind, which makes you infinitely intelligent. Happiness is the truth. Thank you, Carl Williams. Thank you. Thank you, infinite intelligence. See that space between what you choose to do when that pain, discomfort sets in. Clap along if you feel happy. Hope you're enjoying your exercise right now, wherever you are. Still going, even though my legs are shaking. I'm uncomfortable. I get to choose what's next. Alright. I'm proud of my effort. Proud of my determination. I hope you are too, wherever you are. We still got more. Yeah, keep going. Here we go. Let's go. Determination. Let's go. Keep going wherever you are until the song's over. Or if you got your own song on, keep going, keep going. Love your effort, love your process right now.
But the red mist is rising. Iniesta, it's a great run from Messi. Should be four, is four. Barcelona greedily regain possession. Lovely pass from Messi. Back in by Thiago. It's a brilliant fifth. Busquets. Alves with a great run. The header's a brilliant one, and so too the timely finish from Lionel Messi.
We can do better for our peers, for our friends, for our family, and for the Americans that we don't know. We are the greatest country in the world at the greatest time in history, earning the most money that's ever been earned. There is a way that we can keep more of that money. So this statistic will change. We will make this change together. And it's very much like Will Rogers said, the problem in America isn't what people don't know. It's not the little slice of pie we don't know. It's what we think we know that just ain't so. So let's, I kind of alluded to the book that changed my life. Let's talk about some of the people that you all know, because even though this is a little known concept used by the wealthiest families, there's a lot of names that you and I are familiar with that have written, used, and talked about this. The first guy, and this confused my son the other day, he's like, how did he have a rich dad and a poor dad, Dad? And I had to explain to him. But Robert Kiyosaki talked about this very concept. And actually, I've seen letters from Robert to some of my peers about his specially engineered whole life, but he talks about it in Second Chance. And then there's a man who changed my thinking, rewired my nervous system, and it sent me on this journey to find what a better route look like. And that's the big man himself, Tony Robbins. And Money Master the Game, section 5.2, Tony talks about this. A lot of you entrepreneurs out there love Tony. But the one that changed my life, the book that my mentor handed me, was this book, Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And if you ever work with me, talk to me, or mentored by me, I will tell you and teach you how to read this book. I will tell you what to read first, how to go through it. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about, should you start this journey or not? And then my peers, my partners, you got mapping out the millionaire mystery. And that's what we're going to do here together. I'm going to show you how one of our clients used this concept by the end to map out and recapture and have over $1 million back in his family that would have left forever. So we're going to map that out together. And then once you understand banking, you want to start understanding how you can work with other people that you know, like, and understand with the Private Money Guide. So let's talk about this interesting concept. Let's talk about this intriguing concept. Look at that thing. What is that, Jason? Oh, it's the backwards bicycle. Now, it started out as a welder playing a joke on some of the engineers. And now when you all learned how to ride a bike, and hopefully you all know how to ride a bike, but remember back when you were riding your bike for the first time, right? All of a sudden, you press down on the pedal, and what happens? The bike lurches forward. And the harder you pedal, the faster you go. Your hair starts flying back. You're going so fast, especially in the 80s, your mullet's flying out the back. So you're flying down the street. And you turn the handlebars to the right, and the bike goes to the right. You turn the handlebars to the left, and the bike goes to the left. And then, boom, crash. You get up, you're crying. You're like, my hands, that hurt so bad. What the heck? You got rocks in you. If you grew up where I did on chip paved roads, you got rocks in your hands. And you look back, and mom and dad are no longer running behind you. They let you go. Did you quit? Did you stop? Did you never want to ride your bike again? No. You got back on that bike and you kept at it, and it became that first. For me, it was my first freedom as a kid. What if your bike didn't work that way? What if you turned the handlebars to the left, the bike went right? And now you're flying down the street and you want to go right, and so you got to turn the handlebars to the left. How many of you think you could ride that bike? Anybody? I always say I can, but I know from seeing this that I wouldn't be able to for a while. I would have to retrain my brain. And that's what happens. What if our money works exactly like this backwards bicycle? You've been trained and taught, and you've used your money a certain way all of your life. But what if those neural pathways that you believe are true, but are the reason you're here today is because you want more money, more time, more magic, weren't actually the truth, and you would have to relearn anything or everything. It might take a little bit of time, but just like I said in the beginning, you just don't know it yet. So give yourself space, time, and patience to ride this backwards bicycle. So let's talk about some of the reasons why more of us, because again, we're the greatest earning country in the world, why aren't more people successful? Have you guys sat down and thought about this? You know, I always said there's two parts to this. There is the math and the mindset. So let's look at some of the wealth killers. Taxes. Does anyone here not pay enough in taxes? Next, inflation. Think about feeding your family. I bet if you thought back 5 years ago, it cost a lot more, especially if you have boys, to feed them today. Market volatility. The market goes up, it goes down, it goes up. We were in the longest bull run ever, right, in the last century. And now we're getting that fluctuation. We're still up, but for how long? Interest. And this is the part where you're going to give yourself a huge raise later by just changing how you approach the interest in your life and the interest you're paying to other families. And then on the mindset side, we have following the status quo. I joke around and say, this is the sheeple in the world, the people just following. Like, remember when you were a kid and your parents were like, hey, since Tommy jumped off a bridge, are you going to jump off a bridge too? In my case, the answer is probably yes, as long as it wasn't too high. And then fear. And I boil down all of our human fears into two things: the fear of rejection and the fear of failure. There is no third thing. And there actually is no failure. You know, as long as you have your person, your ability, your skills, you can always get back up and start over and do it again. And then life distractions. The busier life gets, the faster things go. It's kind of like in one ear, out the other. We are a deletion creatures. We hear something, we're like, it's like the telephone game as a kid. Oh, I heard this. And we got these things always getting our attention. I'm going to pop mine over there. And this is the reality of why more people aren't successful, because they haven't defined success for themselves and really stop to understand the game. And that's what we're going to do together. I'm going to show you the game today. And then what we're taught. How many of you have really been taught about how money works? And in a second, we're going to start simply with some definitions, and I'm going to show you how money actually works. Look at this guy. Got his hand out like usual, per usual. Uncle Sammy there. And let me ask you all, and this is an interactive part, so pop it in the chat. What's the definition of money? Let's get one we can all agree on. What is your definition of money? I don't want you to be beholden to your money, because money is not going to give you freedom, but it's going to be a tool. It's going to be a tool. It's a tool. So think about this. We're going to give our money for our home, home for money, money for car, car for money, money for food, food for money, nothing more. It just got too dang hard carrying around sheep and wheat and barley. And, it had to be an exchange of value. That's all money is. And then what company uses compound interest? Now, you might say, hey, Jason, banks. And I'd say, almost. Banks do not use compound interest. Just think of this. If you go in and you take out a $100 bill, but you take your money and you write your name on that. You write Terry, I just looked over, you write Terry on this $100 bill. Terry right across the front, you hand it to that teller. Does that teller go back and put it in the magic Terry box where it stays safe forever? Well, that'd be cool, right? So next time Terry went back, they could get that $100 bill with Terry, Terr, written right across the bill. No, that's not how it happens. Money, once it goes into the bank, it becomes a liability. It has to be in motion. So the banks instantly take that money, as I'm going to show you later, and they put that money to work. It's the same as where we eat our fish from, right? We're not going to eat our fish from a stale pond. We want it to come from a river, from a stream that's flowing. It's like our body. If we don't move it, if we don't get up and do the workout and take care of ourselves, guess what happens? We get old, we get stiff, we don't want to move. So no company uses compound interest, but the law of motion, the natural laws always apply. And here's a good one. Are your dollars worth more today or in the future? And want to take a guess at this one? And if you said today, you'd be right. Let's think about this. If you had $1 20 years ago and you went to the store to buy your favorite candy bar, back then it was probably a Snickers. So I'm going and buying with $1. How many Snickers? At least 2, right? Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. Today, think about taking that same dollar bill to your grocery store. How many Snickers could you get? Not even 1. And to buy the giant size ones, you'd have to have probably 3 to 4 times the amount of money. We got a Hershey's almond, Reese's peanut butters, 3. We got a whole bunch of different ones. Heath Bar. And taxes. Are they going up or down in the future? What do you all think? Up or down? I'm going to say, if you go look at the usdebtclock.org, that if they don't go up, what's going to happen? They're just going to tax us on more things. Because the truth is that we're at a historically low period in the history of taxes. At one point, people were being taxed up to 94%. So taxes most likely are going up, but if not, they're just going to tax us on more. And then here's a fun story. What do you know about your retirement account? Now, Robert, I'm going to pick you. I can't see you. It's a lot more fun when I can see you face to face. But Robert, if you're okay, you and I are going to be partners. And Robert, you kind of know me a little bit. We haven't really met, but you see me on the different webinars, educational things. And so in this partnership, Robert, here's how it's going to work. We're going to be partners, 50-50. All right, off to a good start so far, right? And you're going to put all the capital into our business. I, your partner, am not going to contribute a cent. Okay, you're going to contribute everything. And so you might be thinking, Robert, and everyone listening to Robert's scenario, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, Jason's not going to contribute anything as my partner. And then I'm going to tell you the next rule. Say, okay, now, Robert, you can use this money, but you're going to have certain restrictions, limitations, and penalties to use the money. And then once you get to a certain point, you're required to use the money in this kind of structure. You don't really have control of it, but you know what? I'm such a good partner. I'm going to have my hands off. I'm not going to do anything. You are the one that is contributing, taking that little seed and growing it into a great big harvest. It's going to be okay. Promise you, I've done this millions of times, Robert. It's going to be cool, right? What do you think Robert's thinking so far, everybody? You think he wants to be in this partnership? And then finally, I'm going to tell Robert, well, Robert, you've done it, man. High five. Psh. You've taken this little tiny seed and you've grown it into a great big harvest. And I'm going to come sauntering in. Maybe there's a little smell of alcohol in my breath. And I'm going to walk up to you. I'm going to be like, hey, man, crushed it, Bob. Give you a little elbow. Hey, man, I'm going to need my 35.5%. Cool? And that's how the partnership is. When we're putting money in a qualified plan, that's what we're doing. We're locking it up without control with a partner with a contract that wouldn't hold up in a civil lawsuit. But
Morning, guys. I want to share with you a story, a video I watched a while ago. It's from Nick Vujicic, who is a man who was born with no limbs. And he has gone through struggles, but he is now an incredible human being because he's taken that struggle and he is spreading his faith, his love to the world. And he's affected me so much, and I wanted to share with you and remind you that when we're living, laughing, and loving our way to infinite mind wealth, remember the power of love. Nick Vujicic's one speech affected this one young girl. I'll never forget. She stood up and said to him, "Thank you. No one has ever told me that they love me." And when I heard that, I thought, wow, we don't know how powerful we are, how powerful our thoughts and our words are. So someone feeling loved changed the course of their life. And that is something we can all remember. We have that power. Have a great day, everyone.
Alright, next one for me is holding my V sit-up position. Even if I let go, I'm gonna get back up for the full duration of the song. Whatever you're doing, enjoy it fully. Follow your heart and soul. Here we go. Nobody can break your stride. You can keep going. You can get back up. Keep going and getting better all the time. Even if your body slows you down. Remember, those limits, we're always discovering. Always. Sometimes I'll change my arm position just to keep my balance. Love the process of just constantly pushing a little bit more. Go again. Song's still going. We got music in us. Bring out our music over here. Keep pushing. Keep striving. Keep going to find and be your true great self. Focus on your power of determination. No matter what. Destined to bring yourself up. Alrighty. Awesome. Proud of the effort. Hope you are too. Here we go.
Xavi, Fabregas, lovely turn, Messi, it is 5. Oh, they're cutting their sway through the defence again, and Lionel Messi makes it 8-0. Yet another hat-trick. Beautiful, intricate passing between Messi and Pedro, and it's Lionel Messi! It's superb!
we're still doing that without fully understanding. So if you know how to use your retirement account and it is growing and it is doing all things, that's awesome. But if you don't, I just want you to think about that. And that might have been a lot between defining money, taxes, inflation, and everything else I just talked about. That might feel like a lot. But I promise you, just hold space that if that felt like a lot, let's just replace it with simple, logical math and mindset that empowers you. You guys like that? So what is this magical method, right? What is this method we're going to use to map out the millionaire mystery? Well, it's only 3 parts. Remember how I said simple is simple? We're going to keep it only 3 parts. The first part is the machine. And with the machine, you're going to have a certain amount of time you're using the machine. You're going to have a marathon. And if you saw earlier on one of the slides, you might have saw me in an Ironman, finisher's gear. And I don't run a marathon until I've at least swam 2.4 miles and ridden at least 112 miles. So call me just, a normal everyday person that does crazy stuff, but I don't like running. But if I'm going to run, I'm going to do it after doing a bunch of other hard stuff first and then run, because I'm not a great runner. And by the time everyone else is beat up, it makes me look better in my running. I just figured that out not that long ago. And so it's thinking long term. That's the point. That's the second thing here. And then finally, the millionaire mystery. Because money. Who doesn't want some more money in your life, right? When I ask that question, all the hands don't go up. I know I got some people not paying attention. So let's jump into this. The machine. What is this magical machine, Jason? What's this thing that you're talking about, especially for all you new folks? I gave it away early, but here it is with a little bit more definition. It is nothing more than a dividend-paying, cash-rich life insurance, whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned dividend-paying company that has been paying out dividends for every year they've been in business, well over 100 years. And we have 5 of those partners, and they support the process of infinite banking. But just as importantly in life, we must know what this is not. We are not talking about index universal life. We are not talking about variable universal life, IULs, VULs, ULs, or term. Because why? There is no control and there is no guarantees in any of those products. And for banking, I feel like each of you, myself, my family, my wife, we take on enough risk as it is. I want you to transfer the risk to somebody else. Does that sound like a good plan to you? If you nodded your head, then let's keep diving into this. Now, this is an interactive part. I threw this right in the middle, and this is a fun part. So we're going to draw a little T-chart. The top left, we're going to put bank, and the top right, we're going to write policy. And underneath both, we're going to write the word liquid. My definition of liquid is probably the same as yours, right? Money that's accessible, money I can get right away, money that I can just use whenever I want to. I would say yes, and it's not locked up in financial prison. That's my little cheeky version. Now, if you have a high yield savings account, which I know a few of you do, I want you to write the high yield amount that you're getting paid right now from your money being stored in the bank. On the right side, we're going to write 3.25%. That's G1. What's G1? G1 means guarantee. Guarantee number 1. That's the worst this can ever do contractually. And now on the bank side, next line, taxable. All of the growth on the 4.23, 4.24, 4.25% that was posted in the chat is going to be taxable growth. You're going to tax at the end of the year on that money. Under policy, write tax-free. And if you want, you can write tax-free loans, tax-free growth, tax-free distribution. It's all tax-free. You're putting in money after taxes when they're historically low, and you're growing them forever, uninterrupted and compounding and tax-free. Under bank, unstable. What's your definition of unstable? I'm going to give you mine. Think about this. Think back to the beginning of 2023. This is how I define being unstable in terms of being a bank. You had the Silicon Valley Bank, over $200 billion fail. And then within a month, you had Signature Bank fail. $100+ billion more. How in the world did that happen? How was that allowed? That banks with over $300 billion just failed, went bankrupt in a blink of an eye within a month. How does that even happen? Well, this is how it happens. Our whole banking system is set up to operate with the fractional reserve lending is how they do things. And what that means, just to make it easy, when you deposit 10 grand in your bank account, guess what? The bank only keeps 10%, $1,000. The other 90% is lent out. And through a series of loans, that 10 grand becomes $100,000 quickly. I'm going to show you what this looks like shortly. But they fail because now when people get nervous about the money in the bank, or maybe what the bank's invested in, guess what? When they go to get their money out or they do a run on the bank doesn't have any money. And then you have, on the policy side, stability. Remember earlier when I said that every single one of these mutually owned dividend paying companies had been profitable every year they've been in business, well over 100 years. Our partners have been profitable 119, 137, 148, and 160 years. That's crazy. The one in this example, the 3.25%, is where we have all four of our simple family banking policies, and they have been profitable for the last 148 consecutive years since 1877. Is that impressive? And then if you ask the same question that you would ask on the bank side, you would say, why? Why is that true? Well, they practice a different kind of economics. You can only borrow money when the money is backed by something. It's like going back to the gold standard in 1971, right? The dollar has to be backed by something. So when you take a loan, you borrow against the cash value you have and you borrow against the money there. That's called Austrian economics. That means it's sound money. And the life insurance company is only betting on one thing. What is that? When do you and I graduate? I know, I'm breaking the news early, but you guys are going to pass away someday. And so what does the whole life company really care about? How long are you paying your premium deposits? How long am I paying my premium deposits so they can deliver on their guarantees? Now let's go back to the bank side. Unprotected. So as an entrepreneur, you know that it's simple, right? Everything's easy. Like you just sleep in every day. You go to bed whenever you want. You take siestas during the day. It's simple. Well, what would happen now? Remember the wealth killers? If something happened on one of your rental properties or in your business and someone sues you and you have money in a conventional bank, guess what? That is public knowledge. And a good attorney can get at that through liens and judgment. But then on the policy side, it's protected against liens and judgment. If you're an entrepreneur, if you live in the great country of Florida, like myself, or the great country of Texas, it's fully protected. It's fully protected in most states, over 37 of them. And the ones it's not, it's still more protected than it is in a bank. And so far, if you look at the two sides, left side versus right side, you have, on the right side, you have guaranteed, tax-free, compounding, uninterrupted growth in a stable, protected from attorneys, away from Uncle Sam environment where you have access to it. But wait, you're going to hear me say this a few times today. On this Tuesday, it gets better. How's it get better? Well, under the bank side, you have no death benefit. You have 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand in the bank. You take it out, you go back to zero. Guess what? You're back at zero. You've interrupted the compounding. You have no more liquidity because you used it. There is no money to protect, and there's no death benefit. On the policy side, even when you use the money, guess what? You still have a tax-free death benefit that's going to be a multiple of whatever you have put into the policy based on your age, your rating, the amount you're putting in. Okay, but it's a multiple. Like I think my first policy was almost an 18x multiple on what I put in at that time. And that is a guaranteed tax-free estate that'll stay out of probate. That'll go to your loved ones or to the cause you love, right? And so if we're looking at these two sides, I have now promoted or demoted, depending on how you look at it, every single one of you here participating today. Now you are all consultants at your bank. especially the ones that have the high yield. And this is something, again, don't believe anything Jason Patrick Sipple is telling you. I want you, each and every one of you, all of you, to think for yourselves. But the banks have 4x'd the amount of specially engineered whole life that they've bought since 2012. They now own over $225 billion of this stuff. That's crazy. That is nuts, is it not? And now, since you all trust me as an honest banker, now, Jamie, you are going to be buying a new car. So if you feel like it, pop what color car your new car is going to be. And you've been storing your money because, Jamie, you have strong discipline. You are a disciplined warrior, and you've been storing your money in Jason's bank, okay? And now I've been paying you 4%, so a little less than the 4.23, 4.24, 4.24. But I've guaranteed that for the last 5 years, no matter what's happened in the market, I've given you 4%. And you've been saving up. Well, if any of you want to hear buy a Lambo or, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, just add in zero to this. It works whether it's a Fiat or a Ferrari. And now at 25,000 at 4% that Jamie has been saving comes in and says, "Hey, Jason, I'm going to buy my new vehicle. I'm going to get a high five. Good job, Jamie. I've seen how hard you've been working to save your money. Incredible. That's incredible. I can't wait till you get your new vehicle. That is going to be so cool." But Jamie, don't take the money out of Jason's bank. Instead, I'd like to give you a loan. And I'm going to give you a loan, right? You can finance it through Jason's bank too at 6% for 60 months. Remember, I'm paying you 4 and I'm going to charge you 6. But at the end of that 5 years, you will make money. How many of you think Jason, me, is being honest with Jamie? Do you guys believe me? Do you believe that Jamie will make money at the end of that 5 years by earning at 4 and borrowing at 6? Jamie's paying back the loan at $483 a month. Future value calculator says $28,999. Now, many of you, like me, might have said, hey, 4 minus 6 is -2. But you have to know what the money is doing. Because look, the future value is $30,525. I was indeed telling the truth. You've all made, Jamie's just made $1,526 and has a new vehicle. So let's show you now what the banks are doing with your money. And by the way, if you already know, like, hey, I have to have a conversation with Jason. I have to make sure that I know how to take back control of my money, how to put my money to work, how to stop playing their game and start playing my own where I control it and I have guarantees. Scan that QR code. But let me show you. So you guys already trust me. I already showed you how honest I was with Jamie. Now I'm going to show you how you're going to start depositing all the money you make into Jason's bank. So you're depositing 100 grand and I'm paying you 4%. Way better than the 0.07% or 0.03% or 0.01% that you're currently getting if you don't have a high yield. And remember what I told you earlier, when you deposit money in my bank, is it an asset or a liability? That's right. It's a liability. So what happens? I have to move that money out, right? It has to go out. And it goes out to someone that's buying a new home. Whoever wants a new home, congratulations. Today's your day. You got your new home. And now what happens? That money has to do what? It went away from the bank. And remember what I said? It's going to flow back to the bank. We need a place to store it. So the seller puts the money back in the bank. And the bank, remember that series of transactions, lends the money out again. Person that just bought this new home, it's like, hey, we got to keep up with the Joneses. We can't keep driving this beater. Let's get a blue BMW. And so now the bank, Jason's bank, gives them a loan for 8%, right? The home loan, 7%, the car loan, 8%. And what happens with that money? It leaves the bank, but where does it go? It boomerangs and comes right back. And then what happens? Now they got the new home and they're like, you know what? This backyard would be beautiful with a patio and a grill and a water feature. So now they take a home remodel loan out. Now they're going to pay 9% back to the bank. Remember, the whole time the bank's paying them 4% on the money. And then, there's things when you get a new home. I've had 2 new homes in my life at this point, and we'll have more. But every time you get a new home, you forget about a lot of the things, the blinds, the garbage cans, the extra furniture if you got a bigger home. And so now what happens? You end up with a bunch of debt, and then you get all those mailers, and you end up consolidating the debt. Instead of paying 25%, which is the average credit card right now, you now have 12% to consolidate that debt. And then that money goes where? It comes back to the bank. So every single time the money that's deposited in the bank has been lent out for somebody to get what they want. And the bank's taking on very little risk in any of these transactions. And then what happens? The money flows back to the bank, and it flows out again, and it flows back again. Out again, back again. It's that circle that keeps getting completed over and over. But let's look at what really happened during this year. We're going to call this a 1 year. The banks 7 minus 4 make 3% off the home. 8 minus 4 make a 4% off the car. Simple math, right? 9 minus 4 is 5 off of the remodel, off of that new backyard I talked about. And then for the debt consolidation, for the things we didn't think about, 12 minus 4 is 8. And if we add those up, we get 20. Now, here's the magic question. How much larger is 20% than 4%? Is it 16% bigger? No, right? It's 5 times bigger. So in this transactions, Jason's bank made 500% on your money. And when you look this up, again, remember I said do your own thinking? In BauerFinancial.com, banks make between 400 and 1,300% off of every single dollar that you leave in the bank. How many of you would want to make that kind of return on your money? And the great thing is if you said yes, and you're willing to think long term, and you're willing to change one thing, you can do the same thing that the banks are doing. This is why we teach you to become your own banker. Now, this one, remember how I asked you earlier? How many of you want a 35% raise? It means if you're making 100 grand, you're now
We end. Well, quote unquote, we never really end. We now focus on our breathing. Back straight, eyes closed, legs crossed. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel that power that you're using to control your breathing. It's your connection to oneness, to what we all really are, to the truth. The ultimate truth. That you were born to win control over your mind. That when we all do that, we find out the truth of who we all really are. Infinitely intelligent beings, powerful beyond measure. The power of all knowing right here, right now, this moment. You're already made of all knowing of the universe. You're made of that same stuff. With that, you can always have and be your true, peaceful, happy, kind, loving self. No matter what. As you reflect back on your effort today, always remember that if you gave your best in whatever you were doing, that you can do it now, and you can do it forever. That's what makes you a winner. Born to be happy and peaceful, to be mind healthy and wealthy, always. No matter what's going on outside your mind, no matter what anybody or anything suggests about you, any negativity, that's all a lie. It's all losses. Losses that we, as determination, we get to transform to wins, into truth, into accuracy of who we really are. And that's why I love you and everybody in this universe. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy every moment. You're the greatest gift ever. Love you all so much. Take care.